August 1914. Two Russian armies, 500,000 strong, thunder into East Prussia. Their goal, crush Germany from the east before Paris even falls. They believe the enemy is in retreat, terrified, broken. But in the forests of Prussia, a trap is tightening. Within days, an entire army will vanish. A new kind of war will be born. This is Tannenberg, the battle that invented Blitzkrieg. When the Great War began, Germany faced its nightmare. War on two fronts. Most of her army fought France. In the east, barely one force remained, the 8th Army. Outnumbered 2-1, outflanked, doomed. Until a miracle or a mistake cracked the sky. A Russian message sent over open radio, unencrypted. Every move, every plan broadcast to the world. And listening on the other end was Germany. That single mistake gave Hindenburg and Ludendorff the gift every commander dreams of: to know exactly where your enemy is before he knows you exist. In the west, Paris trembled. In the east, Prussia braced for extinction. But from Berlin came two men: Paul von Hindenburg, the stoic veteran recalled from retirement, and Erich Ludendorff, the fiery strategist who'd already taken Liege. Together they would build a miracle from fragments. They turned to the rails, the arteries of a modern empire. Trains carried divisions like lightning, troops appearing where the Russians least expected. In less than 72 hours, the 8th Army vanished and reappeared behind Russian lines. Samsonov scouts saw empty fields and fleeing Germans. They advanced, confident. But what they didn't see was the shadow behind them. Russia's armies were titans, but clumsy ones. The First Army under Rennenkampf moved north. The Second, under Samsonov, marched south. And between them, hatred. The two men despised each other so deeply, they refused to coordinate even as the Germans disappeared from view. That rift would destroy them. Because while Samsonov marched forward, Hindenburg was already behind him. The trap was no longer forming. It was already closing. August 26th. German columns strike from the north and south simultaneously, an iron vise snapping shut. Samsonov's flanks collapse before he even knows he's surrounded. Lines of communication vanish. Telegraphs fall silent. His headquarters is blind. In 2 days, the Second Army is trapped. 150,000 men compressed into a killing ground near Tannenberg. Some units fought until ammunition ran dry. Others wandered lost in forests, surrounded by invisible enemies. Officers tore maps in half rather than surrender them. And Samsonov, realizing the truth, whispered to his staff, "The disaster is my fault." On August 30th, the Second Army ceased to exist. 92,000 prisoners, 78,000 dead or missing. Samsonov rode into the forest and took his own life. To this day, no one knows where his body lies, only that his death sealed the myth of Tannenberg, the place where the Russian Empire's invincibility was buried. Germany rejoiced. A single army, outnumbered and surrounded, had annihilated a force twice its size. Hindenburg became a national hero overnight. Ludendorff, his calculating partner in shadows, was the true architect. Their formula was simple but revolutionary. Speed, coordination, encirclement, defeat through mobility, not mass. While Europe dug trenches in mud and waited for years of slaughter, these two men had already glimpsed the future. A future of motion, communication, and shock. What they created was more than victory. It was an idea that another man, watching from the trenches, would one day turn into a storm. Among the millions who heard the legend of Tannenberg was a wounded corporal named Adolf Hitler. He studied the reports, the tactics, the speed, and he remembered. Years later, he'd unleash armies across Europe using the same logic. Strike fast, strike deep, and never give the enemy time to think. Tannenberg was not just a victory. It was a prototype. A battle of horses and rifles became the ghost that whispered to tanks and bombers. The echo of 1914 would roar again in 1939. Victory made Hindenburg a legend. But legends come with shadows. After the war, he became Germany's president. And when democracy faltered, he handed power to the very man who'd learned from his battlefield. Hitler swore loyalty to Hindenburg, and then inherited his empire. The battle that saved Prussia helped destroy the world 25 years later. Today, the fields of Tannenberg are quiet again. No banners, no gunfire, just wind tracing patterns through the grass. But under the soil still lies the first modern blueprint of annihilation. The message Samsonov sent in clear radio once doomed his army. A century later, our own voices travel the air in ways he couldn't imagine. The technology of connection, the same power that unites, can also destroy. That's the true echo of Tannenberg. Not just how the Germans won, but how the world learned to kill faster, communicate quicker, and never look back. One careless signal, one brilliant counterstroke, and war changed forever. From telegraphs to tanks, from cavalry to lightning war, Tannenberg was the moment speed became strategy and destruction became design. The men who fought here could never imagine the monsters their victory would inspire. But history doesn't die with the soldiers who live it. It moves, it evolves, it echoes. Because history never dies, it just echoes.